Good morning. It is a ridiculously bright sunny day and I am out running a couple of errands, and yesterday I had this long car ride I had to take for my job, and I recorded a long video. I was talking about what the dearth is for honeybees, and I had this long spiel. It was probably like 10 minutes long, and then come to find out my camera cut out at 1 minute and 30 seconds in. Yeah, I was pretty much talking to myself without recording. So I'm going to try again today and see what happens. So the dearth in at least this area of the country, probably anywhere in general, is where there's not much nectar flowing, but it's warm out. The bees are out working and foraging, but there's not a lot of nectar. And there's not a lot of nectar because the temperatures it's hot out, the sun is evaporating all of the nectar up on the flowers that are around, and there might be flowers around, but they may not be appealing to the bees. Or there's just not much around, and so there might be pollen though. Pollen doesn't evaporate as far as I know, so the bees are still collecting the pollen, and that's still coming in, but not a lot of nectar and sugar. So as I understand it, and this could be wrong, that the pollen is fed to the brood to raise them, and the nectar is what's fed to the colony in general. The queen is fed the nectar, the workers eat it, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So what they do is they spend the springtime storing up for the nectar for the dearth, which beekeepers rob out. They take the honey, they leave some, well, responsible beekeepers will leave some behind for the bees, and then the bees eat it during the dearth, and then the next cycle rolls around, and then they build up their stores again. So for here we have the wildflowers and the tree flowers in the spring, and then now in July and August is the dearth, and then we go into goldenrod, which is where they get their last bit of collection and stores built up for the winter. Bees are pretty crafty little buggers though, and so they look for nectar and sugar in other places, so they're still foraging for it. Okay, so where are they getting it from? On Facebook the other day, there was someone that posted that they were seeing honeybees slurping up Red Bull and Monster drinks that had been left out overnight, and so these bees are taking this highly caffeinated drinks back to the hive. I can only imagine what the bees will be like when they get around to eating that. They'll also forage in trash cans looking for high fructose corn syrup and candy and sodas, pretty much anything sugary that they can find. They're looking for it, and then they bring it back. They store it in the cells, they dry it out, they cap it over, and theoretically that would be honey, but it's not honey if it's sugar from other sources. Oh, they could also get it from hummingbird feeders in the backyard. And I did another video, I don't know if I posted it or not, where I put a bee feeder in the backyard close to the house, because I wanted to be able to see the bees come up and eat rather than having to walk all the way down the hill to the hives. And the next morning it was completely drained and covered in ants. The poor bees didn't even stand a chance. And then I left it out for a couple of days and I started to see a couple of bees. So I may put it back out again and hope that they find it this time. So I'm still feeding my bees for the most part. I've taken a little bit of a break just because, you know, they need to do some work on their own. I have two very, very strong colonies that are doing fantastic, and I know that they have stores, and the baby bee colony is doing really well. I just opened it up the other day and finally saw eggs, which means the queen has mated and she's laying eggs, which will help build up the colony. So I'm still going to feed them a little bit, but they actually do have quite a lot of stores that they've stored up from where I've been feeding. So I don't want them to get honey bound where she has nowhere to lay. So I'm kind of backing off a little bit so that she can have some room to start laying eggs or continue laying eggs and create her brood pattern. And then I'll go back to feeding them. They've almost drawn out the entire first box, which is amazing. And I'm really excited about the goldenrod. I've been told that the goldenrod nectar is a little bit stinky, so we'll see what actually it smells like for me. But right now in the dearth, I'm always curious as to where I'm seeing bees flying around and where they're collecting from. The clover's pretty much gone. We still have some. And I talked about it in another video. I saw bees collecting, or bees working the clover at a park, and so they're still finding stuff. Just it's harder. They're traveling farther, and so if you want to help out the honeybees, and you know that there are colonies around up to 3 miles away, put out some sugar water feeders, 1-to-1 ratio of water and sugar. Boil it up so it's nice and viscous, or not viscous, but you know, melted, and the sugar's melted in there, well mixed, and put it out and see if you can feed the bees and help out their colonies grow. In Tennessee, the honey harvest is in July, so all of the sugar water that you put out wouldn't be mixed up into the honey that the keepers are pulling out of the hives. That's all taken care of now. That's all capped over. They can, as far as I know, they can be confident that it's not sugar water. So help the bees, save the bees. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.